Our next witness is Ms. Mona Harden. Thank you, Ms. Harden, for appearing. Look, I know it's always an effort for you to get here, putting it mildly, but we always appreciate when you come. And so I want to give you an opportunity to have any opening comments before you entertain any questions.
Thank you. First and foremost, I just want to thank everyone, this panel here. What I will say is what happened May 10, 2019 is clear for all to see. What should have been done has been absolutely nothing. I agree, and I thank you all for saying what you said. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you. To say that for Superintendent Lamar Davis to say that he wants to move forward, but yet and still we still have Corey York, we still have Clary, those who were there when my son was murdered, to still be on the force, to be looked at like you're still an officer of integrity. I just don't understand how you can say this is an awesome organization, Louisiana State Troopers. What's happened with Ronnie is just a drop in the bucket. We all need to just be honest about what's going on here. And the fact that it needs to be from the top down. You cannot have internal investigations done by those from within. You cannot investigate your own when those who are doing the investigating also have their hands stained. This is so obvious. I was totally ignorant coming into this until it affected me. I'm not dumb, I'm not ignorant. I'm a mother who saw her son being beaten purposely, tortured. I don't even understand how you can look your troopers in the face. They continue to have a badge, they continue to have a paycheck, they continue to be allowed to walk through as honorable. I just don't understand. You purposely turned a blind eye on what happened. That's it. I don't have the pretty words. I don't have anything other than what happened to Ronnie was murder. What should have happened has been not a damn thing. Nothing. 3.5 years later, it's been a long dragged out. The fact that you have the whistleblowers, you have people who came forward to say what they saw. You have good men and women of integrity wearing those badges, coming forward and speaking of what they know, what they saw, and continue to know. They shouldn't have to speak in fear. They should be able to step forward with ease, say what they see, what they know, in order to move forward, in order for the safety of the police, for what you said, Representative Villio, the safety of the American public, citizens. You have to do it. There's no other way but to do it the right way. You cannot sugarcoat. You cannot continue to go through state troopers with nepotism, favoritism, because that's clearly what's happened here. The fact that from the top down, the retirement of Reeves in the midst of this, the retirement of all the other officers, promotions, Noel, all of them. The fact that Clary didn't even have a slap on the wrist. He condoned what he saw. This is where we're at. This is it. how it unfolds and who ends up answering for what happened to Ronnie, I'm sick to my stomach just thinking that I'm just still hoping that someone will pay for the murder of my boy. My family showed a picture of him. My immediate reaction was, why didn't that boy call me yet? I'm still in denial that my Ronnie was mercilessly killed, murdered. I sent my kids back a text, just that. I felt like picking up the phone. Let me call this boy. He hasn't called me. It's denial because of what's happened since May 10, 2019. I've been in the trance. I've said that the last time I was here. That's the only way I'm able to function. And that's good. Because other than that, I'd have completely been hollowed out. All I ask is for what's happening. It's just like they say, if it could have been done right the first time. Everyone was literally petrified to take the necessary precautions to fire these badass cops. They should have taken the necessary precautions to deal with it right then and there. But the fact that no one wants to hold anyone accountable, it says the significance of how deep this organized crime is. The fact that you got the DOJ over here, they need to really look in. And there's no way you can, the words that Lamar Davis, how can you say you're doing all the right thing when Clary is still here, York is still here? How can you say moving forward when you're still not being an effective superintendent? What's done in the past, it should not be overlooked and saying, well, I wasn't here then. I can't address that. We're talking about the troopers murdering a man while he was still behind the wheel of a car, tasing, with intention to kill. He wasn't going to walk away. I saw that when I first saw that video. I don't care if it's 30 years from now. You still go back to that first day. You still go back to that first week. You still go back to that year. What happened in the state of Louisiana and what caused what's the cover-up that happened. I don't care how many years you go past this. You go back to day one, to where we are, to when you decide to wrap it up. You're still going to come up with the same conclusion. And if you do not, then nepotism continues. The cover-up continues. Politics in the murder of Ronald Greene continues. I hate like hell that there's backdoor deals being done. I hate it. It is what it is. I hate it. If the state of Louisiana, if you care about what's going on in your community, you'd go in. You'd make really credible boys clubs. You'd go in and you'd, with a fine-tooth comb, let those kids know there's people out here that care about you. You're going to have your future. You know, you don't have to duck and dodge every time you see a police car. I have grandchildren that react that way. The youngest is 7. When he first started being afraid, he wasn't quite 6. And that's a scary reality of how my family lives, how a lot of family lives. I've been in connection with so many families who's lost loved ones behind police brutality. If there's changes that's being done, why does it continue? Why does it continue? Why hasn't it stopped? Why hasn't it stopped? And why are your bad apples still employed?
All right. Representative Villio.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Ms. Mona, thank you for being here today. One of the points that I found interesting, and I didn't intend to say it today, but it struck me when you're talking about the lack of discipline meted out to certain officers. It's funny how I have been chastised in a written letter by counsel for the governor for statements I've made in this committee. I've probably gotten more than those officers have gotten in that regard, and it just struck me as odd. But with that said, and referencing that letter, you made the statement when I first saw the video. And that's of particular interest to me today, because we know from the from that letter to me, and we also know from some press conferences and news articles that it has been stated that you and or the Ronald Greene family, and I assume that means you, saw the Clary video back in October 2020, some 6 months before it was found by an audit team and then given to the DA in the U.S. Attorney's Office. And we've even had, I guess it's a reality personality, if you will, saying that she was in the room and saw that video back in October of 2020. Can you state for the record whether or not you and the family were shown the Clary video at that time?
Definitely. We were not. The narrative was in total control at the time. When we did see that video, and my question is, if you doubt what I say, why is there not, there were others there, should there not been a video, shouldn't have been recorded for sound or whatever during that time, in order to have total clarity of who saw what and when?
I don't doubt you, Miss Mona.
No, I'm saying,
Okay.
To keep from going back and forth,
Sure.
Should there not have been a video in there for the fact that this is a government building, in order so that we could just get all this talk? But no, we did not see it.
Can you help me with the location of where, when you were shown any videos, you were
Only one time.
one time, and where were you when that occurred?
I was told it was the
EOC?
the
Emergency Operations Center?
I really don't know.
Okay.
I was told that it was the state troopers compound.
Okay.
I'm really not sure. I'm not sure.
Do you remember who was present when the video? Who was?
Edwards. It was Edwards. It was Belton. It was a legal team. It was the lawyer of Edwards. Those that were in control of the video was in the table in the front. We were in the back. There was just a row of chairs.
So the governor was present.
Yes.
And
Introduced himself. Belton went into a whole spiel of what he's done and all his accolades. Yes, I remember that vividly.
were you aware that there was a showing of a video or videos before the family got to see them on that? It would seem to be that same day. Were you aware of that?
We were told that they were viewing, and we were coming there specifically to see the video.
Do you know who maybe had represented you, if there was anyone representing you or the family that was in the, what one would refer to as the initial showing of a video or videos? Do you know who would have been there?
The initial showing before us?
Yes, ma'am.
I really can't.
Okay,
don't know.
because as I read the notes in Colonel Reeves' journal, which happens to be, interestingly, coincidentally, don't know, actually the last notes he wrote in his journal in his career as colonel was that day. And it talks about the video, it talks about the videos being shown to the Greene family, but it specifically talks about the videos the family did not view initial showing only attorneys. So were you aware that there were some attorneys that saw some videos before you got to view them?
Well, I'm sure.
Okay.
Because me and my daughter was on the outside. We were put in a lounge, a lounge, a snack, where snacks were. And they were viewing it. We were there for well over an hour. And we were told by the legal team, if you don't want to see it, you don't have to. And so we were on the outside. I could hear my son screaming. I could hear all that stuff. So we weren't that far separated from the actual viewing. If you mean that would be...
Well, I don't know, but for those in the audience, for those watching, for the governor's staff, for anybody who's watching this hearing today, when Phaedra Parks says that she took notes and therefore you, Miss Mona, saw that Clary video on October 14th, 2020, there's an easy explanation to that, in my opinion, and it's what you said. You did not see it. And Colonel Reeves' notes back up that there were at least 2 showings on that day.
Yes. Phaedra Parks was there. We attended a lunch that was in her honor that day. That was my first time meeting her. I was totally confused as why we were even in that event. But anyway, she ended up there. And so she might have saw it at that time, but we did not see it. We were cut. That video, when we saw it, was cut at the very beginning. We were told, you don't want to see this. This is a chase. And my daughter said, we want to see the whole thing. So it was bits and pieces shown to us to where you can't say we saw the Clary. And they stopped it at their own will. We were not given the opportunity from beginning to end. No.
Rest assured, Miss Mona, as Ronald Greene's mother, I have no doubt that if you had seen that Clary video on October 14th, 2020, you would know you saw that video. Thank you so much for your clarification, and thank you for being here. And again, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Video. Representative Hughes. Hold on, Rep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Mona, first of all, thank you again for being here. Thank you for your courage. And thank you for your strength. I will reiterate what I said earlier. And you said it, and I said it, and I'm going to say it again. Accountability is a word that's often tossed around. But when you have individuals that are still employed, that shouldn't be. I've seen people fired in organizations for making comments on social media. But yet we have individuals that are still employed within the agency. And so there's a reason that the public continues, when they hear the word accountability, they continue to have skepticism. Because there, in my opinion, I'm speaking for myself, has not been true accountability and total accountability. It is my prayer that there will be accountability and that you can achieve some sense of closure. And certainly, I'm committed to that, and I know many of my colleagues are as well. But just wanted to thank you for your testimony as always. And just know there are many of us that will continue to journey with you and will continue to publicly fight to ensure that justice is served. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Hughes. Yes, you can certainly comment. Yes.
Thank you for that. I have family members that say, Ma, they say it was just not going to show. Why are you going to go? I said, this is for Ronnie. I have to. The fact that I make that drive is no problem. No problem. We come from an Army family, no problem. You do what you have to do and you keep pushing. I would not fail my son. I know what happened to him. He should have been able to live. They shouldn't have beat him to where they killed him. They murdered him. But the fact that it's heavy, coming to Louisiana is always so damn heavy. The anxiety, I can't sleep, the pain in my chest. But then I come here and I see y'all here, and I'm good. Because I know I'm with people that care, that people that give a damn. Because what you saw shouldn't have been. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Representative Hughes. I think the board is clear, Ms. Mona, but let me just, again, follow up on what Representative Hughes has said. We certainly applaud you for your courage and your strength in coming here. And I will tell you something that I've told you privately before. Speaking for myself, but I think I speak for everybody. Part of the concern, I know the concern was that this was going to be some type of dog and pony show and nothing was going to come out of that. And when we talked, I told you that certainly, that if that was going to be the case, that I wouldn't serve here. And I can tell you, I think you see from everybody here, if that was going to be the case, nobody else would be here either. We're going to do everything in our ability, I assure you, to make sure that there is closure for you as it relates to this portion of the process. Of course, we don't control the criminal process. We don't control the civil process. But from an accountability process of state police and to that point, and the findings we've had so far and the ones that we're going to continue to develop, we're going to do everything that's possible to make sure that there's some resolution to this. Again, we wouldn't be serving on this committee if we didn't think otherwise. And I can certainly tell you that is not only Representative Hughes' commitment, Representative Bacala, Representative Villio Nelson, Marcel and Landry as well, who couldn't be here today, and Representative McGee, for that matter, the chair. I'm just thinking about what Representative Villio said, and it doesn't take a lawyer, it doesn't take a genius to look at that video one time, and again to see what happened should have never happened, and that is something that state police is going to have to live with, and its legacy, and it's going to be a legacy of the state of Louisiana as well. And while we can't correct it in the sense of bringing Ronnie back, we do have to own that, and we do have to make it right. And in my opinion, we're nowhere near making it right. And so we have a ways to go, but as Representative Hughes said, we're going to be here with you on that journey, and we'll be there until it's made right.
Thank you. I will say, as we come, y'all's beginning statement is as you come to an ending where you fold, at some point everything has to come to an end. But to the point where those that were over Troop F, those that were part of how they received evidence, how they knocked down evidence, for all those that were allowed to retire, all those who were allowed to just fade into the sunset and or be employed here, there, wherever, lucratively, I might say. Yes. What's been laid in front of me, and a lot of it is just there in the news. Louisiana has a lot to clean up. It's really shameful. It's really shameful how you allowed, and when I say you allowed, Edwards can't say he didn't know this. Reeves can say that that's not my job. I left it to the sergeants. I left it to this and that. The level of nepotism, and I understand everybody breaks bread together. You have barbecues, you go to golfing events, all this and that, and you just can't bring yourself to hold these bad good old boys accountable and the top brass for what's been done. for Lamar Davis to say he's doing all he can, it's like he's still in muddy waters. Clary should not be there. York should not be on payroll. No, nobody should. This is murder. This is murder, and it's condoned. I don't care how many times you don't make yourself available to these meetings. It doesn't wash your hands clean of what you know and what you've done. And I say that to all of those from the top down. Why does anyone have to be subpoenaed to get the truth? And then when you're here, you can just lie. You can just continuously lie and expect the panel to just take it. It's really shameful behavior. It's made a mockery of everyone's time. Payroll, what's happened here? A total mockery. It's really in bad taste, and it's really, really foul. 2022 going into 2023. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I don't care how many times those May 10th washed their hands of blood, they did not. It's still there.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Mona. I'm going to give the Colonel an opportunity to address. All right. He doesn't. All right. So he's declining. All right. So look, with that being said, we don't have any announcements at this time. I will get with Chairman McGee to figure out and coordinate with the governor's office to see when we'll have him scheduled. And as soon as we get that date, I'll be sure to let you know. And
Thank you.
and we'll move forward with that.